What was the scariest incident happened with you? Wife and I took a dark exit towards out neighborhood. Whole backseat full of bags cause we went shopping at the mall. There's a red light at the intersection once you get off the exit and we pull up to this tinted-ass Oldsmobile. They were in the right lane to go straight or turn right and we were in the left lane to turn left. Nobody is around, maybe 10 at night. I turn left and look in my rear view and it's the car that was next to us a bit back. I pull in my driveway and just had a really weird feeling, so I told my wife I'm gonna reverse and drive around the block. She thinks it's weird as hell, but as we are reversing, this dude is walking towards us from that Oldsmobile parked around the corner. I dip the heck out and make it look like I was just turning around and drove like a mile away before heading back. Just had this gut feeling, man. Who knows what would have happened? But it was scary as F, nonetheless. I was 29. I was having chest pains. They were reminiscent of when I was younger and rushed to the hospital just for it to be heartburn. I started treating for that but got to the point I couldn't move. I was sent home from work and went to my doctor. I described everything and said it just felt like bad heartburn. She starts looking at stuff and treating me for GERDs. Just as she's about to send me on my way, she's like, "Let's do an EKG." After the results, she brought in the big doc who agreed with her, and they said they want to keep me overnight for observation. I get there and they hook me up to a ton of devices, start medicating me. All they told me before I fell asleep from the meds was I had an enlarged and weakened left ventricle. It's now maybe 3 a.m. I am awoken to the creepiest looking doctor ever. He had this skeleton thin body but with a round pot belly, think Farnsworth from Futurama. He was bald but with this greasy stringy hair that was like long, and he draped a few over his head. Meanwhile I am still have drugged out and afraid what's going on. He pulls up a chair and asks if I know what's going on. He says I had a nibble of a heart attack. Using his pointer and thumb to indicate very small, he explains something about numbers, and if they hit a certain number it indicates heart attack, and mine hit the number directly next to it. So let's say 10 means heart attack, I hit a 9. Bear in mind, my dad died of a heart attack when he was 39. I'm laying there freaking out, everyone I know is asleep so no one to talk to. I'm too drugged out to do anything. I just pushed the button for more drugs to go back to sleep. They did a heart cath and said my arteries were clean, and months later found I had a flu-like virus that went untreated, so it reached my heart before my body fought it off. I had gone to a Med Express place a month before cause I was sick with flu-like symptoms, but they lasted 2 weeks. The doctor said it's the flu, you're young, you'll get over it without doing any test. I had to wear a heart defibrillator for about 4 months after that, and on heart meds for life, all because the express doc was too lazy to test anything. But that night shift doctor looked like death, and I thought he was coming to tell me I died. One evening, about 10 years ago, my girlfriend at the time and I were traveling on a 2-lane interstate in a rural part of Alabama. The sun had set, but it wasn't all of the way dark yet. All I could see was a mostly dark yet still slightly pink sky and the glare of headlights in the oncoming lane. There was a semi-truck immediately to my right and a car behind him and a pickup truck in front of him. Nothing out of the ordinary until I noticed that one set of headlights from the oncoming lane looked out of place. Wait, maybe they're just topping a hill in the distance and have their brights on. Boy, was I wrong. There was a car going 120+ miles per hour in my lane. It was on us before I even fully processed what was happening. So fast that I was unsure on what the best decision was. I'm blocked in by this semi on my right. Do I go left and launch my car into the median going 75 miles per hour? Or do I not turn at all and hope this lunatic goes around me on the shoulder of the road? Just when we were about to brace for impact, the semi-truck driver jerked his truck to the far right side of the road, putting most of his truck in the grass. But he gave me enough room to move to the right and just missed the car screaming towards us. I yanked my steering wheel to the right, squealed tires, but I maintained control. I'm glad I didn't play chicken with that car because he never budged out of the lane I was in. It was the most intense near-death experience I've ever had. My girlfriend cried the rest of the way home. I was shooting a music video in the woods with my friend a few years ago when 10 NYC police officers descended on us with their guns drawn. They were immediately yelling, "Hands up!" Down on the ground. The scene was very confusing, as some of them were in plain clothes. My fight or flight instinct kicked in. I can completely and totally understand why some people bolt when they see police with guns drawn. That shit is frightening.